So this is the NGI Search Open Call 5 webinar. This is the intent of the call is, or the webinar is to provide you with some additional information of how to apply for the 5th open call in NGI Search, which is also the final open call in our program. And it will be upfront. I will already say this will be a very competitive call because we have maybe only room for around about 5 to 8 projects, I would say, instead of the typical 10 to 12 projects. And so I hope that this webinar will help you understand, what we are looking for in terms of the projects. I'm here also with Aurora and Valentina. They're from University of Murcia. They will talk about the different topics that we are looking for in this open call, and then also Nina and Thomas from Funding Box, who help us with the open call mechanism. And you will be also part to a brand new open call proposal mechanism or a system that Nina will present a little bit later. And also on the call, we have Olivier, who's helping us from OW2, manage also the call. I think that's it from the project side. All the others, I hope you're here to listen to Open Call 5 and also plan to submit a proposal there. Like I said, please use the chat for questions, and then we do a Q&A at the end where you can just, chat with us. We'll hang out, or I will hang out until 12 o'clock at least. And also longer if there are more questions. So what we plan for is, to discuss the scope, the topics, what you get out of it. We offer these 10 added value services. So we also have a bit of a program that is tailored to you, or that is tailored to you. And then we have something about the Open Call 5 rules and the mechanisms, like the platform that Funding Box is offering, how to apply, and then we finish off with some Q&A at the end. So NGI, if you're not familiar with, is actually quite a big program. We have now funded in the NGI overall program over, I think, 1,500 different projects, or at least project participants. So sometimes a project consists of more than one partner. And this is an extremely widely spread program across Europe, but we also have programs that link into other countries outside Europe, like the US, for example. And so you would join sort of this much bigger family of projects. And NGI Search is just one of many of these projects that are providing funding to FSTP. So these financial support to third-party projects, something that you're applying for. And previously, we've run a project called NGI Pointer. We use that as a reference for you to see sort of what kind of projects we funded under that umbrella. These were more network-oriented projects. But now we are in this NGI search context, so it's more about search, discovery, and indexing. We have many sort of large language model projects also to that, but also projects that look at more network resources as well, not just all services and applications using larger data sets and for example, an open web index. So just be aware of this context, so you can find a lot more information on ngi.eu to figure out in which sort of bigger context you're stepping into if you're not familiar with the program. There are also many other events that are being offered there on working with that as well. So you get a lot of examples also of the types of projects that we're funding there. On NGI Search in particular, I just wanted to show you a status so that you can see where we are now. It's a status from this month. Here at the top is a URL. So if you go to ngisearch.eu and then follow in the menu bar towards the open calls, you can actually find a lot of information about all of these projects that we are funded here. Here we just have the acronyms that we're using. But you can see from these first 4 open calls that we funded between 10 and 13 projects in this 4th open call. So this OC5 will be a little bit smaller because we have not as much money left as the previous ones where we could allocate. So it's a bit more competitive in that sense. What you can see here is that out of 81 applicants that were eligible, we funded 10. So you can see roughly that's gotten a little bit worse maybe on the chances that you have for getting funding, but it's probably a 10%, let's say, chance of getting funded on average, roughly. And we have very good projects, but we also have projects that are maybe not as good in our opinion. And we'll get into some of the evaluation criteria a little bit later as well. All of our evaluation is done independently, external to the project, but we also have something that we do internally. The green ones marked are finished projects, so they've all delivered all of their requirements. So the first open call we are now sort of closing down, and then in a few months, the second, third. So it rolls forward a little bit, and with the last ones, you will also have still interaction with the other projects, and hopefully also reaching back into OC1 still, and this wider network that we talked about earlier on. But that gives sort of the picture. What is very important for OC5 as well is all the previous calls were 12 months. This is a 9-month program. The reason for it is that our main project ends in August 25. So this is just a little bit over 1 year. And we need to have a little bit of time to report on the project. So we expect that the projects finish at the end of June with all the deliveries, and we start in October with the projects. That's sort of roughly the timeline. There could be a little bit of plus and minus in this, but we just need to finish before the summer next year with the project. That's also something to keep in mind when you apply. Timeliness is also very important. So NGI Search overall, so the big project that provides the funding for this context is that we're running these 5 open calls. We're focusing on researchers, innovators, and activists working in search and discovery from a human-centric perspective. So taking these NGI important characteristics into consideration, like decentralization could be one topic, or that we're looking at alternatives in terms of search and discovery, that we look at digital commons. But Aurora will talk about that a little bit later, what specific topics we're looking for. We say that we usually have a 12-month program. So this is now a 9-month custom program where we're offering 10 added value services. But it's mainly sort of you get a mentor allocated to your project who offers you also additional help and links into the other partners of the project to help you with activities that we'll also cover a little bit later. You also become part of this NGI community. In particular, we want to work together with our sister research and innovation action, which is called the openwebsearch.eu project. And I'll also mention a little bit later what that is about. They are offering in principle a large open web index, and there could be applications built on top of it, or other types of services to work with the data that is being collected or analyzed. And then we also have sort of this establishment of synergies with national, regional, international activities. So only just last week we had the OW2Con, which is a conference that OW2 organizes every year in Paris. We had also the Open Expo in Madrid that we participated in, and we have many other events that we're linking up to and working with more national, regional, international initiatives. Partners, sorry, I always forget to mention that at the beginning, but this is why we have that slide. I'm from Aarhus University. We're coordinating the project. We have Funding Box on the call. Thomas and Kasha is not here, but Thomas is here. And Linknovate, we have actually Antonella in the call, and Charlie is usually also there, who's one of the mentors. And then we have Murcia with Aurora and Valentina on the call. The overall budget of the project is 8.5 million. 6.8 is reserved for these FSTP projects over the 5 open calls, of which around about 6 million have been spent now. So that's sort of the rough number or allocated. Let's put it this way. There's a small million to be allocated in this final open call. So this leads me then to the sister project. So you can find a link here. So openwebsearch.eu is the URL that you probably should be going to. I'll just put it in the chat. And there you can find the project. So there's other initiatives under this as well, but on the project status, you can find a picture like this. So the project is working on the creation of an open web index. So there are many activities on that side over here. Open Web Search also has their own open calls where they're looking for more legal help or help in collecting data. But they also have on this right side activities that they're interested in. And these activities relate to, for instance, applications that use the web index or data products that create models or help with components towards applications in a more general way. And we encourage the use and interaction with Open Web Search in our project as well. See an ability to link your project into this context. We are very interested in knowing more about it. And I'll hand over to Aurora now in a minute to actually dig into this a little bit more deeply in the various topics, indicating where that could actually be interesting. So Aurora, is it okay if I pass over to you? You just tell me when you want the next slide, and I'll slide. So
okay, so next slide.
Slide.
So hello everyone. I'm in charge of describing the topics for this Open Goal 5, and also I will try to link each of them or the majority of them with OW with the sister project that was just introduced. So there's one slide for each topic. So let's go. Next slide, please. The first one is search and discovery features for existing digital common projects. So search and discovery features can be used to enhance the technologies that are already offered by digital common projects. And those features, such as multimodal and geolocation-based search or decentralized social networks, can be of help. Some examples that could fit here in this topic are algorithms capable of selecting the best modalities that are tailored to particular needs to provide a user-friendly atmosphere when searching through these projects. And those particular needs can include the location of the user, so dynamic geofencing, or real-time adjustments of privacy depending on where the person is. Where it is located and for what, by what it is surrounded. We will also like to see new features for content search across decentralized social media platforms that are not owned by a company. So this is this first topic, and Open Web Search can support here either in integrating digital commons into the Open Web Index or in providing index data to link other web data to digital commons. Next slide, please. Second topic, revolutionizing internet dynamics, AI network synergies, digital twins, and metaverse innovations. Currently, the last advancements on artificial intelligence are shaping how we use the internet by means of bots, IoT agents, and they are somehow anticipating the rise of metaverse and digital twins. So we look for the virtualization of network components by means of AI network collaborations to make them adaptable, scalable, and efficient. In other words, we're looking for digital twin applications and anything related to the metaverse that can support innovative ways to search and discover information aligned with AI so that we can explore this innovative landscape. Next, please. NLP, natural language processing. The complexity of NLP models that are widely in use at the moment, and even before LLMs, their complexity is increasing, and therefore they demand more resources to work. And the challenge here consists on developing simpler and more sustainable NLP algorithms and practices that can adapt to edge devices or IoT devices, therefore not depending on the cloud, communicating with the cloud and reducing their energy impact, their latency, making them more simple. Federated NLP practices for privacy concerns, or making NLP models able to interpret social media, social media data that uses demographics, language, and social interactions as variables, from which we can also extract information when realizing a query. So improving NLP in these dimensions. And Open Web Search can provide here with relevant clean process or even raw data, raw web content for developing their projects on NLP, since NLPs are very, very important for web search engines. Next, please. We have semantic analysis. Integrating semantic data help us creating a representation of concepts and their relations in the form of ontologies. So those ontologies help us integrate heterogeneous data, which is what we are facing at the moment in this in scenarios. Data is coming from different sources, from a different velocity. So the knowledge and information about a subject can be spread across these different data sources, and we need to make them uniform to fuse this information for a better access of information, and therefore finding knowledge and integrating such knowledge in our systems. Some of the challenges consist of searching dynamic relations between concepts. So when we have fresh data, really fast data, how we can modify an ontology that has been already defined. Optimize queries, meaning like minimize execution and maximizing the completeness of the answer. And federated query processing techniques that can integrate data from many sources, that are autonomous, distributed, heterogeneous, and they can make it uniform. These are examples, but always like other kind of approaches related to semantic analysis can be analyzed and can be as well, very well of interest for the project. And Open Web Search can provide participants with relevant web content, as well as full text indices, plus metadata for integrating the search capabilities in solutions such as knowledge graphs or solutions related to semantic analysis. Next, please. Okay, the topic, enabling new ways of discovering and accessing information, is a general topic, so we don't miss anything that is of interest. We don't leave anything behind. So for this challenge, we can receive anything that is in your that you feel like it can fit in the search and discovery, let's say, paradigm. Algorithms, methodologies, platforms, anything that can be used to discover and access information, explainable AI, in general, anything that can leverage technologies and data to access information in different ways. Next, please. Yes. Search engine evaluation and ethics in search and discovery. So it is without questions that the revolution that we're experiencing through this late advancement through AI and search and discovery requires that we carefully consider the implications in terms of the anthropological and social implications that these tools have. So in order to ensure that the algorithms and the tools that we're creating that do not compromise basic rights such as privacy, freedom of choice, we need ethical frameworks. We look for solutions that are aligned with the European Commission report Ethics Guidelines for Trustworthy AI, which provides a clear way to evaluate the responsible development of AI systems. But we look for that tailored, obviously, to discovery and search. Tangible solutions that include tools to combat misinformation, data literacy promotion, addressing cultural differences, minority issues, debiasing mechanisms for transparent and explainable AI. So really ethics and like ways to safeguard human rights in this at the same time that we progress. OWS can support through the easy creation of search engines to analyze bias in search and organizes workshops as well and events on legal and ethical aspects where applicants can participate. Next, please. Retrieval augmented generative models and conversational search. LLMs generate human-like text in a wide range of contexts as a result of a query when a user is searching for information, as you know. But they are computationally demanding and resource intensive. So their applicability sometimes is limited to those that can have the resources. Another problem they face is hallucination, where they create information that is not grounded in reality, or supported by any facts. So what we are encouraging here is to use knowledge distillation that consists of transferring a trained, large, complex model to a smaller but more efficient environment. And for hallucination, for example, we encourage retrieval augmented generation that can reduce it by combining content generators with a search engine backend. Also, from a chatbot technology point of view, search is essential after making a query to the chat. So that's what we mean with conversational search. Like we are providing a query, but it's like these generators are now the interface of the search engine. We are now facing this kind of content generators, and it's where we want to apply this kind of technologies. And Open Web Search can support projects by providing search engine technologies over parts of the Open Web Index to build traditional search engines that can be later paired up with these mentioned technologies that you can propose and that you can explore for improving in general the experience of a conversation with an LLM. Next. Privacy preserving technologies in search and discovery. So here we're talking about the development of technologies that can help protect personal information and user data when searching information online. Some examples that could fit are federated learning, differential privacy, secure multi-party computation, and homomorphic encryption. So I don't want to go through all of them, but if any of this is familiar to you, we welcome this kind of technologies. Open Web Search can provide search engines for studying or applying privacy-preserving technologies, such as the ones I mentioned for testing. Next, please. We have here transfer learning for search and discovery. Transfer learning is based on using knowledge gained from one task to improve the performance on another task. So instead of learning from scratch, it leverages pre-learned knowledge and applies it to a new but related problem. And transfer learning can be effectively applied to search and discovery to improve their efficiency and their performance. So again, here there are some examples on like the use of pre-trained models or larger data sets can serve as feature extractors. Representation learning that transform the data so that a new representation captures better the semantic meaning and context of a search or of a document. Fine-tuning of the pre-trained model to specific search domain. So transfer learning tools are applied to discover and search are as well welcome. Next, please. I think it's the last one. Content quality assessment towards human-centric content provision. What is this? So the information within a query can be originated from two broad categories: from humans or from machines. I mean, right now we have this dichotomy. We are looking for methodologies that evaluate the quality and the source of content for search tasks, with a focus on product-related queries. So the quality considerations include the relevancy, accuracy, completeness, recency, and user satisfaction. Trying to, with a mechanism that provides continuous improvement with a feedback loop. So we would like that the tools emphasize human-centric content, so they are able to detect and prioritize human-centric information. This is what we are looking for here. Tools that can help us assess the quality and the origin of information. Open Web Search would support the integration of the methodologies in the Open Web Index, but also provide data which might help differentiating between the content types. And that was it from the topics. I think there is a huge, there is a huge variety on them, and I hope you find them interesting to an extent. Thank you.
Thanks, Aurora. So menu. So there's a lot of different topics there, and then there's always, of course, a topic that encompasses everything. So, but I think the hints in particular to the Open Web Search project that were really helpful, Aurora. Thank you. So I think just to move on. So when you're applying, you also become part of this program that we said. Now it's a 9 months shortened version of it, but what we expect is that we break up your project into 3 milestones, and you'll be assigned a mentor that helps you go through those milestones. But at the same time, you can also get these added value services that we're offering. So this first one, the technology mentoring and advice, most of the time we can't help you specifically on something, but we can spar with you, and that's usually the mentor's role. Now he is assigned UMU, but this is a broader topic that all of our mentors can provide with you. But we have more specific services, like for instance beta testing that OW2 is offering via the Reach Out platform. You can also find all of this, by the way, on our website. So if Nina or Thomas, if you could just add a link that lists the services also in the chat, that would be useful. But they can find more information about the beta testing. We also have a good network through our advisory board, but also internally for links to standards and foundations to help you get to know some of those if you're not familiar with them as well. These are some more technical, so more on the business side. We have a mechanisms also from OW2 that offers a market readiness check. So this is more like not the TRL, but the MRL levels. It's a methodology that OW2 has developed and can also offer you to have a look at your project, how far it is along those lines for market deployment. We also have pitch training offered by Funding Box, as well as business modeling and coaching we also offer from Aarhus University's perspective. And then finally, we have sort of this innovation aspect of it. If you are unclear about open source licenses, if you maybe would like to do a review of that, that could be a possibility as well. Market landscaping and research. Linknovate helps with that. They have a platform that offers this open science advice. If you're more on the research context, what data sets you can publish, for instance, alongside also your knowledge. And then finally, we all help you with content creation, in particular Funding Boxes there, as well as OW2 in supporting you creating that material. So that's very briefly the services that we offer. You can find them on our website as well. And then the next one is how to apply for funding. And I would hand over to Nina.
Thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yep. Yes.
Perfect. So I will be explaining a little bit of the whole application form process and where is it done, and how can we help you if you need any help. So yeah, we can go on with the next slide, please. So once again, we have NGI Search Support Program that is going to last up to 9 months this time. Funding limits are remaining the same. So we have 50K for the natural person and 150 if an applicant is applying as an organization. We are also accepting consortia of those two combined. The limit is 3 members per team. We really encourage you to read the guide for applicants like more than once because a lot of information, if not all, is really in that document. So we are calling basically everyone, individuals, organizations looking to change the way we use search and discovery on the internet. We will have 4 stages of evaluation process. First one is eligibility check, where we are checking basic things. So if the application is written in English, if the country is eligible, all these things, like I said, you have in the guide for applicants. Minimum quality criteria is checked by the selection committee, by the partners, the technical partners within the project. So by the project consortium, where they are deciding if your project is within the scope and if it meets the criteria defined in the applications. After that, we have external evaluation. So we have 2 evaluators brought in to evaluate each application that passed the minimum quality criteria check. And after that, we have a final consensus meeting where we finally decide the list of finalists and the reserve list and those that unfortunately did not pass this stage. And finally, we have the sub-grant agreement signing if and when you get selected. Next, please. So about the application itself, like Mirko already said, we are doing it on OnePass platform, which is a new platform by Funding Box. And this one is it's really intuitive and easy to use. When you click to the apply button, you have to create your pass. You're like some of like your wallet, I would say, and you can search all there is there with the calls and trainings and a lot of stuff in there right now. But regarding the NGI Search 5th open call, you literally have like a apply button and you start filling the sections. It's the same as it was in the previous 4 open calls. It's just a different layout and it should help us all to make it more like nicer. It's a nicer way to fill out the application and it's going to be easier for us and for everyone to do the evaluation. And it's like really high level application for management. Next, please. Yeah, so you have to fill out everything, all the sections as before, and submit the deck. You won't be able to submit it if yes, you will. You can submit it and come back to it before the deadline, of course. So you can save the changes and edit the application as many times as you want until the deadline. You can add a contributor so if you're filling it out with you can help, I mean, your team member can help you out filling the same application. And that would be probably it. The next slide, please. Yes, like I said, so you can add a contributor. Please mind the deadline. Don't do it 2 minutes before the deadline. We always say this, but it always happens. And then we always have someone sending us emails like 2 seconds after, can we please submit because we didn't have time and whatever. So just try not to do it 5 minutes before. because we are very sorry, because we cannot accept anything past the deadline. So fill all the fields, of course. This is also one change, that only one proposal can be made by the same user. So if you have one username and one proposal, before it was possible that one same user can create multiple applications. This is not possible anymore. If you need any help, there's a dedicated email address, ngisearch@fundingmugs.com, where we are trying to reply to all your requests in like 24 hours or even less. There's an open call help desk on the Spaces. Here's a link. And over there, you can always raise your questions, and we are checking that daily, multiple times. And we are applying to all the possible questions that you might have. Yeah, I think that was it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. And so some more important notes. Like I said, it's a 9-month program, not 12. And it's going to be highly competitive. At least we believe it will be, if we can see the numbers growing in terms of the submissions. A few more points that we take very seriously is conflict of interest. So if we are linked to any of the organizations that is part of the consortium, you are of course not eligible to submit. If you are, too close to one of the members in the consortium, it's probably also going to be flagged as a conflict of interest. Although we have made some exceptions where we believe there is no conflict of interest, but we remove the organization or the people in the organization in any of the evaluation processes and also mentoring processes. But these are exceptions where we also analyze very clearly if there's a conflict of interest. So if you believe that you have a conflict of interest, just be very transparent about it so that we can do a proper assessment. Minimum quality criteria was mentioned. So the MQC is a stage that happens in the evaluation process. So once we get the set of applications in, and we have a basic eligibility check, we're going to what is called the minimum quality criteria check. And a lot of projects fail at that stage because maybe they didn't read it properly or they tick the wrong boxes. So please make sure A1, if you want to pass A1, first of all, you need to tick the right box saying that you satisfy this criteria, but you also need to have a clear description of why this is an open source project. So it's not about only having an openly accessible repository on a GitHub, for example, or even an empty GitHub saying we have plans to put it there, but that you also either have a very clear strategy for how you will create an open source project, or that you can demonstrate to us that you already have an open source project. And this doesn't mean that you maybe have a great service or application that you're already working on and then say, okay, there's funding for some open source, so this feature will be open source. That's also not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is something that makes sense in the wider community, that can be applicable to a broader set of users in terms of an open source component that is not specifically only useful for something that is maybe closed source. So this is something that a lot of projects fail on, and they get very disappointed that they fail on this. So first of all, you need to tick the right box. Second of all, you need to be convincing about this. That's an important aspect of it. Criteria B1 and B2, you only need to satisfy one of them, but you're more than welcome to satisfy both of them as well. The first one is we're looking for real working code in a deployable state. So you need to demonstrate to us that you already have something. And this could be, documented working code on a repository, or some sort of demonstrator, which can also be just a video talking us through different aspects of what you are developing, the code itself. So if it's less easy to demonstrate, if it doesn't have a user interface, then of course it's more like code with documentation, or video where you can talk us through. Again, we prefer projects that have a community around it. Maybe there's more developers around that are interested in this project, or you have people that create issues on your repository. These are good evidence usually that there's something there. The second criteria is, specifically on that community side. So it's good citizenship in the open source community, wider internet web community, maybe contributing to standards like W3C or IETF we've had in the network community more. But W3C, we had some solid projects, for instance. But that sort of demonstrates that you're part of a larger community also contributing there. So this is very, very important to pass to the stage of the independent evaluation that's outside of this project, then done by a set of experts that provides the full evaluation of your projects. And based on this, there will be a ranking and a selection committee that consists of the different partners in the project, then choose the subset of projects that we would want to fund. There will also be scope playing into this. So if you're not related to internet or web activities with your project, if you're a standalone application that is far away from this, we might also take you out of scope. This has happened also on occasions. These were interesting projects, but we believe because this is next generation internet related, we need to be quite strict on that topic and looking for that as well. We also have the option for you to upload a supporting document. This is optional. We don't want a full proposal, so you don't spend time writing a full proposal there and submitting it. We're only looking at it for tables and graphs because everything that we want from you is text-based in web forms, so it's formless. So we don't have consultants with a lot of graphical skills, winning points on the look and feel of the documents that are submitted, and giving also others a chance that maybe are not so well versed in writing proposals, that it's purely based on the content and not the form. But you have a supporting document where you can add graphics and tables that are not possible to be easily added into the web forms, of course. But it has a page limit and it's optional, and we only look after this document when it's referenced in the web forms. So you should write in graph XYZ in the supporting document. You can see an early architecture of this development, for example. So I think that gets us to the thank you. Deadline is on the 29th of July, right? Lina, Thomas, yeah, you're nodding, at 5 CST, so Central European Summertime.